Hi, it's the 4th of October 2018 at 12:30 p.m. I've been reluctant to do Me Too videos. I just don't like it. I, um, I, I, I've just stayed right away from it. But I watched a video yesterday of President Trump making a statement that it's now a scary place for young men in America. I couldn't help feeling it's just my that's an understatement. Yeah, sure, it's scary for young guys. There's no doubt about that. I mean, you're right there, at the coalface. You can be accused of anything at all in your life is totally ruined. They can make up any story they want, and the onus is on you to prove your innocence. It used to be that you were innocent until proven guilty. That's been flipped. It's now you're guilty until you prove your innocence. Yet we've gone a long way back. And the whole point is, how do you do that? How do you prove your innocence? And because you've got all these friends that you think are friends, and you find that they'll be describing things like you'll say, you go to them and say, look, this is a situation. Can you tell me what you saw? Well, I saw this and this and this, and you think, oh my God, I'm dead. And because they're more than likely, they'll put their own spin on it, whether it's true or not or what have you. I know I've had the same thing happen to me. It's just, it's awful. I had an altercation here, not an alter. I wasn't saying anything, but the other guy was going off his nut. For example, so I asked the neighbour, you saw it? He said, yeah, I saw arms going up and down. Yeah, he didn't say whose arms they were. It was from a distance. All he saw was a fight. So the assumption goes, oh, then these two people, men, they were shaping up to one another, were they? That's what it's like. And yet it's a totally unreliable witness. Yeah, he saw some sort of altercation happening. I was standing there calmly as the other bloke's going off his nut. But because he describes arms, two men together, therefore, two men having a fight. Yeah. And there's absolutely nothing you can say to change anybody's mind. It all happens inside their head. Different story if they had video footage of it, that's something, although that can be doctored, I suppose. But when it gets down to verbal evidence, I mean, it just, I don't know, something about the tone or something, it just comes out wrong. It just doesn't matter what you do. And how do you, the whole thing is, it's not just limited to young guys. I don't know why Trump said that. Whether he's pandering to young guys trying to get a vote or something, but I mean, Kavanaugh himself, he's talking about something that's 36 years old, something that happened 36 years ago. For God's sake, that's further back than half the young guys. 25. It's happened 9 years before, whatever, 11 years before that. That's how far back they've gone. How does he prove that? This is a judge. This is a judge, that supports a legal system where you're innocent until found guilty, proven guilty. And they're attacking the judge. They're going right for the very head of that very system. Yep, you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent. To a judge. I mean, this guy's got an impeccable record. He wasn't exactly the sort of a slacker that, did an all-nighter the night before the exams and spent most of his life drinking beer. No. He's one of the high guys. What are you guys? Oh boy, they'll have a field day with you, I can tell you. And don't think you're safe. I mean, they can just come at you from anywhere. Just, if this goes through, so this is past or whatever, and the trend continues, you just get a knock on the door. Can you remember what you were doing on the 5th of April, 1987? Huh? Yep. Okay. Well, you can just see him writing it down. Yeah. he seemed a little defensive, or seemed to be behaving this way. My God, Father, what was I doing on the 5th of April 1987? Who knows? I can barely remember it. But I mean, you can just make up anything, and that's what people do. I mean, it's not just people; it's whole countries. Yeah, Iran have definitely got nuclear facilities. Russia are about to attack or something, aren't they? I don't know. China are this. This country is this. Iraq, weapons of mass destruction. Libya, oh my God, what a bad person he was. Yemen, oh, does anybody even know why we're killing millions of people in Yemen? Really? That doesn't even hit the news. Yeah, but it's all, yep, they, the finger pointing, they, weapons of mass destruction, they're doing this, they're doing, and everybody's out there trying to defend themselves in impossible situations. But can't defend yourself. The Skripals, how can you defend yourself? There was this substance on a door handle. Did they put who knows? And it's just accusation after accusation after accusation. But it doesn't stop at even countries. I was just banned from PayPal. I asked why. No, not telling you. They don't even need to have a reason to ban you. I thought, well, it could have been that I sent money to AB a few months back, $5 or something, to buy her a beer. Could have been that. They could have seen that as suspicious activity. It could have something to do with this channel, me doing this channel. Could do. But it was suspicious activity, I said. Or it could have something to do with my host for web pages. That seemed to slip in a little extra invoice there, and it coincidentally at the same time it became, I got banned from PayPal under, suspicious activity on your account. Like I buy my internet and the occasional eBay purchase with it. Really suspicious, eh? So it's don't think for a moment it's just limited to men, or to people in relationships. It's countries, customers, God knows who else. Just this epidemic of people pointing the finger and accusing you of all manner of things. I could sense it, in 2014, and I thought, because I tend to get a sniff for for future trends, which is probably years in the futures market, I guess. That's what you're on the lookout for, a trend. Which way are things changing? What's happening? What's the trend going on here? Is the trend changing? We've been in this downtrend, but is that trend likely to change? That's what I look at. So I'm always on the lookout for evidence of just like they're accusing me of something I haven't done. And so is that likely to happen again? And I sort of look around and think, I'm seeing evidence of it everywhere you go to ground. It's safer. Go online. That's safer. I don't have anything to do with people in very little to do in real. It's too dangerous. And I think more and more people are going to see that in future. They'll start coming around to that way of thinking as well. But you've got to ask yourself the question: why is it happening? It's not just political. It's general. I mean, why would a corporation do that to a customer? And the only real answer I can come up with is it's the death of honesty. It's just died. And I mean, that's just, I don't think there's any other way of putting it. The honesty sort of started dying a few years back, where it seemed to, people were amazed that they could get away with the lies they could tell lies. I had people say, they lied on their resume, amazed that people believed them. So, at some point, honesty died. And it makes me wonder why honesty was deemed so important in my younger life. I'm a baby boomer. I was born 11 years after the end of the Second World War. And at that time, honesty was huge, particularly my family, my father. It was huge. I just pushed it. And I've grown up in a steadily, in a world that's becoming more and more dishonest the whole time. And I've held on to, tried to be as honest as possible. God knows why, really. But I suspect, I could be wrong here, but I suspect it was that big push was a reaction to narcissism from Hitler. I think they just went through a very frightening time where it looked like Hitler was going to take over the world. And they saw that as just total, probably narcissism, although they wouldn't have known the word for it, wouldn't have known the term for it. And they would have experienced in the lead up to the war a lot of lying, I imagine. That's not borne out in any way in history that I've seen. It's like that. We didn't have YouTube channels like this. Like everybody's lying. This is a lie. That's a lie. Everybody's lying about. No, but what you're seeing here, if you go and look at YouTube, it's everywhere. Yeah, it's all a lie. It's all fake. Everything's an illusion. So maybe parents who went through that, tried to, bash into their children the idea of honesty. Don't go that way. Don't go back to that world. It's horrible. It's a bad world. That's the only thing I can think. I mean, I can't think why else he would have been so keen on honesty. They must have, and it was generally that way. And children weren't praised at all. Nah, there was none of that. None of what you see today. Nah, no, very little of that. It was none of it. No, you might have got a well done or something occasionally. That was it. None of this overboard business. Nothing like that. So I guess we grew up not narcissistic. That if anything, we're just sort of used to being treated like a piece of shit. If anything, we're just in the habit of it. I guess, I don't know, us older people. But it's, when you think about narcissism, it's really all about their need for power and control. And really, what better way, what easier way to get power or control over a person than falsely accuse them of something? I mean, it's helped if you yourself are a top student and good sportsman, a good person in the community. That really gives you the ability to just lord it over everybody. Everybody else is beneath you, and you can then make up anything you want, any story you want to, this person is that or that. And it's so easy to do. So easy to weave a story around it, and they think they're clever for doing it. I guess, I don't know. I find it tedious and boring, and the truth is, when you look at it, it's just so obvious. It's really like a child is doing it. It's children try to trick you, and it's sort of sweet. It's so obvious you can see it's a trick. But then if it becomes narcissism, it's no longer sweet. It's malicious and awful. But that's what it's like. It's like children trying to trick you. We tricked you. I've told you before. I've even had it on the channel. mgtows are so stupid, so easy to trick. Yeah. That's when you trust people and you try to do the right thing by one another. Yeah, it's easy to play them off and manipulate them and what have you. But I don't know. I don't know what they get out of it. I sort of look at it like a cat playing with a mouse. Before it kills it. The cat's having a good time. It sort of gets it sort of, I want to eat you, I want to destroy you. Little tiny mouse, great big cat. They don't just kill it mercilessly. No, they play with it first. And that's kind of how I see the whole process. It's kind of like, we're being played with. In fact, someone suggested I have a look at a thing, a rats down the rat hole or something like that. It's a video about a mouse experiment. Very interesting. And it sort of made me see things in a different way. Yeah, I sort of feel like we're the mice. Yeah, we're in an environment. The environment's created. And it's up to what sort of environment you have. That you're living in. And let's face it, our environment is largely dictated by our laws, our legal system. That's our cage, if you like. That's what limits us. That's what puts the boundaries around. you know, if you go outside those boundaries, well, then you end up in jail, don't you? Yeah. So our cage, our boundaries, if you like, is our legal system, which uh, is now changing. Yeah, you know, the honesty, fairness, all gone. Just this new cruel, nasty world that nobody seems capable of standing up against, or writing off, or saying no, we've had enough of that. Um, well, not in the West. I dare say that that's going to happen with other countries. I think they're just going to get sick of it, and it won't be. You know, when push comes to shove, it won't be conventional war. It might be for a little bit, but you know, there's just too many nukes around at the moment. It's that's what's going to happen. It'll just go straight to nuclear. And you know, the idea of this army being, this military being number one, and number two, number three, I mean, forget that. Because you only need, you know, 15 or 20 nukes or something, and we're all on a level playing field. I mean, you could just about destroy any country with 15 nukes. You know, that's the truth of it. And there are plenty of countries with 15 nukes. So, you know, the idea of having all this massive, I think you can forget it. And I think we'll quickly get to, you know, pushing buttons. It's a push button world. So that's probably what's likely to happen with it. I don't know. Look, it could be like the McCarthy era, you know, where it just faded out. I don't know. I don't know why the McCarthy era stopped. Yeah, McCarthy era was, for those of you who don't know, was when he was accusing everybody of being a communist. It would have been the same atmosphere, the same feeling. This sort of guilt. Ooh, you're a. Yeah, it's that sort of thing, and it's particularly awful. People that I think have the disease. I mean, they're all the same. You know, they've got the tone. The tone is important. How it's said. And just this, and that tends to, you know, get people right behind. Oh, you're this, or oh, you're that. Women are particularly good at it, but a lot of men are too. You know, they've got that tone that does it, and they manipulate it. You know, and their victim, whoever they're targeting, can't defend themselves. I don't know how many people have told me that Russia interfered with it. You know, or Russians interfered with the election. That's why Hillary lost. Yeah, well, the evidence I have seen is hardly convincing, but that's the whole point. That yeah, it's diverting the blame for something to somebody else. You know, it's for someone else has done this, and this is accusing, and it's spreading. It just seems to be getting worse. I don't know. You know, it's sort of like I can well understand why guys are going mgtow. You know, I thought at first, you know, you'd go mgtow because you were just. I thought it might have been for whatever reason, but look. I'm not even certain why guys are going mgtow. It's interesting though. In my last video I spoke about the Italians changing the divorce laws. And the interesting thing was the guy's reactions to it. It wasn't. It was sort of like, yeah, if they change that, then I might go back, or yeah, that would be good. It was quite a positive reaction from the channel. You know, I was glad actually, because it sort of it put us in a better light. You know, I often get comments where, you know, they're pretty derogatory toward women, and I try and say it. I don't delete them, but I say, look, be careful. I think in future, you know, anything I say or you say, you know, can be held against you badly, and they'll weave the stories. So I urge guys not to badmouth women, okay? Just for your own protection. But I was really interested in what the guy said, and it sort of, it told me that, yeah, it's the environment. We're like in that mouse experiment. Yeah, and we're all mice, and we're saying, yeah, change our environment. I think it'll be better. I think the colony will work. relationships will change. But the guy who conducted that experiment deliberately manipulated the environment. He did it on purpose. Oh, it became a horrendous, it became hell. And so, in a sense, I'd say, with social engineering, that's what they're doing. They're manipulating our environment. But that's what guys here said. You change the environment, and it might be all right. And it makes me wonder whether we're sort of self-changing anyway, via socialising through the internet. And this becomes a social outlet. Are we changing our own environment? Are we taking? Is this us? Is this anarchy? Is this us finding a new way to live, a new way to be? Look, it's not bad. That's certainly safer than out there. I wouldn't go out there. It's not bad, and as you keep changing and modifying, you get. I'd have to say I'm probably doing better than I was when I was married, emotionally and psychologically. I'm not drinking alcohol. I'm not on any antidepressants. I'm not using drugs. I'm getting my work sorted out. I'm starting to move slowly forward after all those years of going nowhere. I'm actually by myself, and it's in collaboration with women, but in a different format, different way. Anyway, been good talking to you, and let's just hope like hell it just ends up being a McCarthy era trend and just dies. But I'm not I'm not that hopeful, to be honest. Anyway, talk to you all again. Bye.